We're back on the Friday morning sports show on wfhk. Your home for Pell City Panther football, and we try to share the love a little bit on Friday mornings, talk about all of our county teams, Victory Christian, and a team that has been unbelievably good over the past several years, Raglan High. They went all the way to the state semifinals last year, and Gary Hanner from the St. Clair Times, let's bring you back off the bench. Let's let you introduce our special guest we're going to talk with for the next few minutes here.
Our special guest is new head football coach Jonathan Nix at Raglan. He's been an assistant coach there for 3 years, so he's in his fourth year. The thing about this is that Coach Nix was at Raglan, and he is the softball coach. You asked me a question last week, and I didn't know the answer, but he has led the Lady Purple Devils to 3 state championship titles in softball. So we're looking hopefully to do the same thing with the football team now.
I know the football team's been pretty much unmatched when it comes to 1A football over the last several years. And first of all, thanks for coming in, Coach.
Thank you for having me. Very excited.
Tell us a little bit about your coaching history, where you grew up, and all of that good stuff. People can know you.
I grew up in a small town in Walnut Grove, Alabama, not too far from Trade Day. I'm sure everybody knows that landmark.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Went to a small school, so I understand community. I understand that the community is the backbone of a place, and so went to West End High School and was very fortunate to have a great coaching staff. That's probably where I'm at. Where I'm at today. Was fortunate enough to play on 3 undefeated seasons at West End in the regular season. I think that's kind of what got me into coaching, is having strong men in my life that led me that route.
Talking with Raglan head football coach Jonathan Nix. Now he takes they've only played 1 game, but they're 2-0 on the year, had a forfeit involved. But Raglan is at home tonight with Galesville coming in, and it's a very familiar opponent. Talking about them a little bit and y'all's kind of interaction over the past couple of seasons.
It really is. Last year we played them once in the regular season, and then we also matched up with them in the playoffs. But Galesville was our last regular season loss, was in 2010, week 5, when Galesville came in and beat us 6-0. So, I know that's still in the backbone of some of our kids' mind about that. Even though that was a long time ago, a lot of these seniors were 10th graders then, and we did not handle business that night. And so, and that's been preached all week long.
Talking with Raglan High School new coach Jonathan Nix, who takes over a very good program. Now, talk a little bit about, you made the run to the state semifinals last year. How many players you have to replace?
We had to replace a lot of seniors, and also what's a little transition is the fact that maybe the kid played defensive end last year, and this year he's having to play linebacker. So he might be a returning starter, but he's not a returning starter in the same spot. So, I was very, very pleased with last week with us having that long road trip, everybody in new spots, the 2-hour road trip being so mental on a kid, them in new spots, and us going on the road to Addison, which Raglan's only played 1 time in the history, and it was in a playoff game. So, very proud of our kids the way they handled that.
Now, y'all's region, y'all are going to have to make some road trips, and some folks are going to have to make a pretty good long road trip to come see y'all. Talk about some of your opponents you're going to be seeing this year in region.
There's 4 teams that are on our schedule that the state. We're in a 9-team region, so that means we only get to pick 2 games. So this week is actually a non-region opponent for us because we're in a 9-team region. Week 1 was a region game, and they shut down their program, and we wasn't notified until the end of May, and by then there's nobody to replace. But some of our long road trips this year is definitely to Addison, Meek, and Faultville. And then next year we'll have 1 long road trip to Summit to Christian. We're at the furthest point of these points that they pick for our region. So everybody that we're playing is in the northwest county of Alabama.
Yeah, I grew up in Coleman, and I don't think you can get from Raglan to Addison. Is there a MapQuest said, what? When you put it in there, how'd y'all get there?
Well, there's actually 3 or 4 different ways, and all 3 of them are longer, and the longest way. So, and I think we were kind of in the middle. We went through Wallace Hansville and went up that way. So it was a little over a 2-hour trip on a bus.
Yep, and you'd head up a very windy, hilly Highway 278 to get into Addison. Well, I'll tell you what, I know you got to go do some school stuff today. You're going to have a pep rally. What y'all do up there for game day in Raglan?
We do. The community is all behind pep rallies, and they're always excited. And last year, our school program, our athletic program, was fortunate to have their best season in school history in all sports, and so I want to give a shout out to that. Volleyball going to the Sweet 16. We had girls basketball Final Four, boys basketball Elite Eight. Then we had football semifinals, and then we had baseball second round of the playoffs, and then we had softball as a state champion. So athletics is very important to our community. Our kids understand it. Our work ethics there in the weight room, and our key thing is to try to be the best 1A program in the state.
John asked me a question last week. Will you still be able to coach girls softball this year?
I will be, and that's something that it's very challenging when it comes to spring training. That's the hardest time, and so there's adjustment on both sides that has to be made in spring training with girls and boys. But last year, Coach Rutledge was big in helping me with that, and so we would go from one softball, go to the softball field straight to the football field for about 10 days. We were putting in, we're getting off one field, say about 9:30. But the biggest thing that we've got is we've got coaches on our staff right now, on all staffs, that care about kids and that do a great job and great coaches. So I'm very fortunate to be around a good staff.
Well, I hope y'all have a big crowd tonight at Joan Ford Stadium. I feel sure you will. And us here at WFHK, obviously very proud of what Ragland has done on all the athletic fields over the last several years, and we had the opportunity to follow y'all all the way to the state semifinals last year. That was a fun run. I hope we get to do it again. I hope the Panthers and a lot of the county teams are all in the state playoffs, but we've jumped on that Ragland bandwagon many times over the last few years, and wish you luck tonight, and very proud of what all y'all have accomplished athletically and academically over the past several years, not to mention overcoming a tornado in that area and all of that stuff. So we salute you here from FHK.
Well, I sure appreciate it, and thanks for having me on.
That's Coach Jonathan Nix from Ragland High School. They're at home tonight taking on Galesville. And Gary will be talking about that game and the rest of them with us here on the Friday Morning Sports Show. Going to take a short time out. It's 8:27 on your hometown hookup, WFHK. We'll talk some Panther football, too, when we come back.